My name is Sophia, 32, and I froze at my sister Rachel's engagement dinner when her fiancé, Marcus, called me out in front of everyone. Rachel had just sneered at my job as a family court judge, saying I'm a failed lawyer who judges families because I can't have one. Then Marcus stood up and said, "You're the judge tonight, Sophia. Tell us what happened 5 years ago." Silence gripped the room. The secret I'd buried about Rachel's past was about to unravel. This story reshaped how I view family and justice. If you've ever faced a tough choice between protecting someone you love and doing what's right, hit that like button. This drama pulled me to dark places before I found hope. By sharing it, I hope you'll see why the hardest choices often involve those closest to us. Subscribe for more stories about fighting for truth, no matter the cost. To get why that night hit so hard, you need to know about me and Rachel. Growing up, I was the straight-A kid, always doing what was expected. I studied hard, helped at home, and aimed to make my parents proud. I wasn't perfect, but I tried. Rachel, 2 years younger, was the opposite, rebellious, charming, and always our parents' favorite no matter her troubles. I was shy and focused. Rachel was bold and popular. Her smile got her out of everything, late nights, failed classes, you name it. "She's just spirited," Mom would say. "She's finding herself," Dad would add. But if I got an A-, I'd get a lecture about my potential. That was our childhood. Rachel skated by while I had to be flawless. I didn't hold it against her, not really. She was my little sister, and I loved her. I felt it was my job to look out for her. In college, I worked 2 jobs to get by. My parents could have helped, but they saved for Rachel's future instead. I didn't mind. I was proud of my grit. Law school was my goal, and I crushed it, graduating near the top, passing the bar first try, and landing a solid job. Even so, family gatherings were all about Rachel's latest adventures, backpacking in Europe on Mom and Dad's dime or starting businesses that flopped fast. She'd borrow money, promising to pay me back. She'd flirt with guys I dated, sometimes stealing them. Once, she even went for a job I wanted, claiming she didn't know. I forgave her every time, telling myself that's what sisters do. Becoming a family court judge wasn't my plan at first. I was in family law when a case about a girl stuck in a bad custody fight changed me. I wanted to protect kids like her when the system and their families failed them. 29, I became one of the youngest judges in our state. Rachel's response to my judgeship said it all. She raised a champagne glass and smirked. "So you'll judge families now, Miss Perfect?" Her jealousy was clear. After that, she made a habit of mocking my job at every family event. "Ruin any families today, Judge Judy?" She'd quip at Thanksgiving. Or she'd tell her friends, "This is my sister, the failed lawyer turned judge." Her jabs, masked as jokes, stung every time. My parents laughed it off, telling me to chill when I pushed back. "It's just Rachel being Rachel," Mom would say. "Why so sensitive, Sophia?" They didn't know how much her words hurt, especially because of the secret from 5 years ago, the reason I can't have kids. While caring for Rachel's child, I had emergency surgery. An infection left me infertile. Rachel knew this. She knew my sacrifice, yet she mocked my loss. When Rachel got engaged to Marcus, a kind and steady prosecutor I knew from work, I was happy for her. I thought he might help her grow up. But watching them, I wondered if Marcus saw the real Rachel, the selfish, sometimes cruel person behind the charm, or if he was just another one dazzled by her act. I kept quiet. Who was I to judge her relationship, even if judging was my job? But as her engagement dinner neared, I had a bad feeling. I never expected Marcus to be the one to rip open the secret I'd guarded about our family's past. The dinner was at my parents' big suburban house where Rachel and I grew up. Mom went all out with caterers, flowers, and candles, perfect for Rachel, who loved being the star. I got there early to help, though Mom said it wasn't needed. Honestly, I just wanted time to brace myself. I knew Rachel would find ways to point out my flaws, my single life, my childlessness, my supposed shortcomings. "Sophia, you didn't have to come early," Mom said, tweaking a centerpiece. But since you're here, check the place settings. Rachel wants perfection. Course she did. Sure, Mom, I said, faking a smile. How many guests? About 20, mostly family, plus some of Marcus's relatives. His parents couldn't make it from Boston. I wondered if they had doubts about Rachel but pushed the thought aside. By 7 o'clock, the house was packed. Aunts, uncles, cousins who'd seen our rivalry but never grasped its depth. Rachel's friends who egged her on. Marcus's brother and sister-in-law looking uneasy in the chaos. I was sipping wine, talking to my cousin Beth when Rachel and Marcus swept in. Rachel glowed in a red dress worth more than my mortgage payment, flashing her huge diamond ring. Marcus, sharp in a suit, looked genuinely happy. For a second, I thought maybe Rachel had changed. Maybe this was a fresh start. Sophia, she called, dragging Marcus over. There's my judge sister, always lurking in corners, right, Jess? My hope faded. The night had just started, and she was already at it. You look stunning, Rachel, I said, ignoring her dig. Congrats again, Marcus. I'm thrilled for you both. Marcus smiled warmly. Thanks, Sophia. It means a lot you're here. Where else would she be? Rachel laughed. No husband or kids waiting at home. My cheeks burned, but I stayed calm. Beth squirmed next to me. Rachel, Marcus said, his tone a soft warning she ignored. Just teasing, she chirped. Sophia knows I don't mean it, right, Jess? Before I could answer, Mom called us to dinner. I sat across from Rachel and Marcus, right where she wanted me, forced to watch their joy up close. The first course came, and I tried to blend in, speaking when spoken to, laughing on cue. But as the main course arrived, Rachel's focus shifted back to me. So, Sophia, any big cases lately? She asked, slicing her steak. Split up any families this week? Dad frowned. Rachel, that's not fair. What? I'm just curious about her job, she said, all innocence. Sophia decides who gets to keep their kids. That's huge. It is, I said evenly, and I don't take it lightly. Sure, Rachel replied. But doesn't it bug you, judging parents when you're not one? How do you even get what it's like? Table went silent. Even Rachel seemed to know she'd gone too far. I don't have kids, I said, choosing my words, but I know the law and what kids need to feel safe and loved. Of course, Mom jumped in. Rachel, tell us about your honeymoon plans. Rachel happily switched gears, gushing about their Bali resort. But the break was short. By dessert, she was back to poking at my flaws. Sophia, ever tried dating apps? Rachel asked out of nowhere, her tone sharp. My friend Stephanie found her husband on one. They're easy, even for tech newbies. I'm fine with tech, Rachel, I said calmly. I've used dating apps. And she pushed, smirking. No luck? Not yet, I replied, keeping it short. You'd better hurry, she said with fake concern. Your clock's ticking. I froze, fork midair. Rachel knew I couldn't have kids. She knew why and still stabbed at my pain. My parents swapped glances but stayed silent, as always, never challenging her cruelty. Maybe Sophia's focused on her career, Marcus said, trying to ease the tension. Rachel laughed. Oh, she's always about her career, right, Jess? The big, independent judge who doesn't need a man or kids. I set my fork down, steadying myself. There's nothing wrong with loving my work. Of course not, Rachel said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. It's all you've got. Face it, you're a failed lawyer judging families because you can't have one. The room went dead quiet. Beth gasped. Aunt Gloria's hand flew to her mouth. Even Dad looked stunned by Rachel's venom. Before I could speak, Marcus stood, his warm smile gone, replaced by a steely resolve. You're the judge tonight, Sophia, he said firmly. Tell us what happened 5 years ago. The air turned heavy. Rachel's face paled. Marcus, what are you doing? She hissed. His eyes stayed locked on me, daring me to speak. In that moment, I knew he'd uncovered my secret, the one I'd buried for 5 years, the one that shaped my life, my career, my heart. Could I finally say it out loud? I'd protected Rachel for so long. But looking at my parents, who always chose her, at relatives who ignored her cruelty, at Rachel's panicked face, I wondered, who was I really shielding? That secret had been eating me alive. If you've ever had to choose between hiding a toxic family truth or speaking out, you know my fear. Silence weighs heavy, but breaking it is scarier. I was about to change everything. Stay with me as I share what happened 5 years ago and how it reshaped our lives. 5 years back, my life was different. 27, I worked in family law, dated a great guy named David, and dreamed of our future. Rachel, 25, seemed to live her best life, partying, posting glamorous photos, dating shady guys. Our parents worried, but she brushed it off as networking or building her brand. I heard whispers of Rachel's darker side: drugs, wild nights, affairs with married men. When I tried to talk to her, she'd snap, "Not everyone wants your dull life, Sophia." So I stopped trying, focusing on my job and David. We only spoke at family events where she played the perfect sister for mom and dad. Then came a 3 a.m. call that changed it all. My phone rang, jolting me awake. "Sophia," Rachel's voice was slurred, panicked. "I need help." "Where are you?" I asked, heart pounding. "Sunset Motel, room 117. Don't tell mom and dad." She hung up. I woke David and we raced to the motel, a sketchy place in a rough part of town. I knocked on room 117's door, terrified. Rachel opened it, her face bruised, one eye swollen. "What happened?" I gasped. She pulled us inside. The room was a mess, clothes everywhere, empty bottles, a chemical stench I later learned was meth. But what stopped me cold was a little girl, maybe 2, huddled on the bed, her eyes wide with fear. "Rachel, whose child is that?" I whispered. She sobbed, shaking. "She's mine. Her name's Lily." I stared, stunned. "Yours? How?" "I didn't even know you were pregnant." "No one did," she said. "I hid it. Planned to give her up, but I couldn't. I've been raising her, kind of." "Kind of?" David asked, his voice tense, already checking the silent girl. "My sitter quit," Rachel muttered. "Said I didn't pay enough. And tonight was bad." "Who did this to you?" I asked, eyeing her bruises. "My ex," she said. "Found out about Lily and lost it. I lied to him, but he didn't have to hit me." David looked at me, grim. "Sophia, Lily's malnourished and sick. She needs a hospital." I saw Rachel clearly then, thin, worn, broken by drugs. She couldn't care for herself, let alone a child. "We're taking you both to the hospital," I said. "Now." Rachel didn't fight, a sign of how bad things were. At the ER, doctors confirmed Lily's neglect, malnourishment, and ear infection. Rachel tested positive for drugs and was admitted. Child Protective Services arrived. I sat in the hospital, answering a social worker's questions. No, I didn't know about Lily. No, I hadn't seen Rachel's drug use. Yes, I'd help. When foster care came up, my heart screamed no. Lily was family. "I'll take her," I said. "Temporarily, until Rachel's better." The next days were a whirlwind: paperwork, court, learning to care for a child. David supported me, but the shift strained us. My parents were shocked, more by Rachel's drugs than Lily's existence. They offered to take her, but I worried they'd let Rachel slide. So Lily came to me. 4 months, as Rachel went through rehab, I became her mom. It was hard. Lily had nightmares, feared adults, threw tantrums. But with love and help from experts, she began to trust me, to thrive. I fell in love with her. She became my world. David and I adjusted, but the pressure broke us. I never regretted taking Lily in. Then, 6 months later, I collapsed with searing pain. A ruptured appendix and infection led to surgery that saved me but scarred my reproductive system. Doctors were clear I'd never carry a child. Lost in pain and focused on getting back to Lily, I didn't grasp the loss then. It hit later. While I recovered, Rachel returned clean with a new boyfriend, James, a wealthy developer. "I'm ready to be a mom," she declared. James loves kids. After all Lily and I had been through, Rachel thought she could just take her back. "Rachel," I said, "Lily's stable now. The change could hurt her." "She's my daughter," Rachel snapped. "I messed up, but I'm better now. I have rights." I wanted to fight, to scream that rights mean responsibility. But James mentioned lawyers, and I knew as Lily's aunt I'd lose in court. Rachel was her mom. If she proved she was stable, no judge, ironic since I'd later become one, would deny her. So I helped transition Lily to Rachel, setting up therapy, begging her to keep Lily's routines. "I will," Rachel swore. "I've changed, Sophia. James is good for me. We'll be a family." I wanted to believe her for Lily's sake. The day Rachel took Lily was the worst of my life, worse than my infertility diagnosis, worse than losing David. Lily clung to me, sobbing, "Don't go, Aunt Jessie." "I'll see you soon, sweet pea," I promised, holding her tight. "You'll love your new room with Mommy and James." Rachel pulled her away, her cries echoing as they left. A month later, they moved across the country. Rachel sent updates and let me video chat with Lily at first, but soon calls dwindled, texts grew vague, and then nothing. She'd say they were busy, promising to call. They never did. I thought about flying to see Lily, but what would that do? Rachel had legal custody, and it seemed Lily was being cared for. I had my own life to rebuild. Losing Lily pushed me to rethink my career. I'd seen the family court system up close, its strengths and flaws. I wanted to fix it. When a judgeship opened, I applied, driven by my experience with Lily. As a judge, I swore to keep cases confidential. My story with Lily and Rachel was personal, not professional, but I kept it quiet, to shield Rachel, protect Lily, and spare myself the pain of reliving it. My parents knew bits of the story, but not Rachel's full neglect or my bond with Lily. They had no idea about my infertility, a grief I kept to myself. That secret haunted me, hidden until Marcus exposed it at the engagement dinner. After his challenge, the room felt frozen. Rachel broke the silence, her voice sharp with panic. "Marcus, you don't know what you're talking about. This isn't the place." "When is, Rachel?" Marcus cut in, his tone soft but firm. "After we're married, living in another of your lies?" He looked at me, his eyes kind. Sophia, I'm sorry to do this, but I found case files about your sister at work. I tried talking to her privately, but she keeps dodging." Rachel shot up, knocking her chair over. "You had no right to those files. That's confidential." "I didn't seek them out," Marcus said calmly. "I found them researching a case and saw your name. I couldn't ignore it." Mom looked confused. "What files?" "Rachel, what's he talking about?" Rachel ignored her, glaring at me. "This is your fault, Sophia. You're jealous, always have been, and now you're ruining my life." Her words broke something in me. After years of taking her cruelty, protecting her secrets, staying silent about my pain, I snapped. "My fault," I said, voice steady. "Rachel, I've covered for you for 5 years. I let you mock my childlessness, knowing why I can't have kids. I've shielded you, and this is my thanks." "Sophia," Dad warned, "we don't need to air this in front of everyone." I laughed bitterly. "Of course not. We can't admit anything messy in this family, can we? Rachel never faces consequences." "What consequences?" Mom demanded. "What's going on?" I glanced at Marcus, who nodded. Taking a deep breath, I told the truth. The 3 a.m. call. Finding Rachel beaten high with a toddler, Lily, I didn't know existed. Taking her in while Rachel went to rehab. Loving Lily like my own. The surgery that left me infertile. Rachel's return with her rich boyfriend, taking Lily away. I haven't spoken to Lily in over 4 years, I finished, voice cracking. Rachel moved away and cut me off. I didn't fight because I thought she'd changed, that Lily was better off. Silence hit hard. Mom spoke first, stunned. You had a baby, Rachel? We have a granddaughter. Rachel's face flushed. It's not like that, she insisted. Sophia's making it sound worse. I had a rough patch, but I got clean. I stepped up. Did you? Marcus asked softly. Because records show you left Lily with James less than a year later. I froze. What? Marcus nodded. When things fell apart with James, Rachel left Lily with him. He tried to care for her but gave her to social services. She's been in foster care. The world tilted. Lily in foster care? After all I'd done to protect her? Is that true? I whispered to Rachel. James said he'd take care of her, she muttered. He had money, a big house. But he moved on to someone else, Marcus said. He didn't want to play dad anymore. You left her, Dad said, shocked. Your own daughter. I was in a bad place, Rachel admitted. I thought she'd be better off. I felt sick. I believed Lily was safe, loved. To hear she'd been abandoned again in the system I fought to keep her from crushed me. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, tears falling. I'd have taken her back in a second. You knew that. I was ashamed, Rachel shouted. I failed, okay? Perfect Sophia would never mess up like that. You'd be the perfect mom, right? Stop it, Mom cut in. This isn't helping. Marcus, is our granddaughter in foster care now? The records are from 3 years ago, he said. I don't know her current status. The dinner fell apart. Relatives whispered, some shocked, others judging. Rachel's friend shrank back, uneasy. Aunt Gloria stood. We should give them privacy, she said. Beverly, Thomas, thanks for dinner. Rachel, Marcus, congrats again. Guests left quickly, leaving just me, my parents, Rachel, and Marcus. I can't believe you did this, Rachel spat at Marcus. You humiliated me. I didn't want to, he said. I tried talking to you privately, but you avoided it. After how you treated Sophia tonight, I couldn't stay quiet. So you ruined our engagement dinner, Rachel snapped. Rachel, Dad interrupted, this isn't about Marcus. It's about your lies, hiding a child, abandoning her twice. Rachel's eyes welled up. I knew you'd judge me. That's why I kept it secret. We're your parents, Mom said, voice breaking. We'd have helped you and our granddaughter. Like you helped when Sophia took Lily? Rachel shot back. You were too busy judging me. You were on drugs. Dad exclaimed. You hid a pregnancy and a child for years. What did you expect? As they argued, Marcus sat beside me. I'm sorry, he whispered. I didn't mean to ambush you. I just couldn't marry her without the truth. I nodded, reeling. What do you know about Lily? Not much, he said. Just the social services report when James gave her up. I don't know where she is now. I have to find her, I said, resolve growing. I need to know she's okay. I'll help, Marcus promised, squeezing my hand. I have contacts. Across the room, Rachel's sobs mixed with Mom's tears. Dad looked broken. This is Sophia's fault, Rachel cried. She's always been jealous. She turned you and Marcus against me. Mom, to my shock, rolled her eyes. Rachel, stop. Your victim act doesn't work on us. This is your doing. Rachel stared, stunned. For once, Mom wasn't excusing her. I'm leaving, Rachel said, grabbing her purse. Marcus, you coming? He stood but didn't follow. We need time apart, Rachel, to figure this out. You're breaking up with me, she gasped. Not breaking up, he said. Just time. This is a lot. Fine, she snapped. Don't expect me to wait. She stormed out, slamming the door. The four of us stood in heavy silence. I should go, I said finally. Court's tomorrow. Sophia, Dad started, but I shook my head. Not now, Dad. I can't. I grabbed my things and left. Marcus followed. I'll call tomorrow about Lily, he said. I nodded, drained, and drove home in a fog. The next morning, my phone buzzed with missed calls and texts from my parents. I ignored them, needing space before their blame. As I left for work, it rang again. Thinking it was the courthouse, I answered. Sophia, Mom's voice was sharp. We need to talk about last night. I stopped cold. What I did? You humiliated Rachel in front of Marcus and our family, she said. You dragged up old secrets she didn't need aired. She's devastated. I couldn't believe it. Mom, Rachel lied to us for years. She abandoned your granddaughter and kept it secret. And you're mad at me. That's in the past, Mom insisted. Rachel's worked hard to rebuild her life. She's happy, stable. You couldn't handle that, could you? You had to ruin it. I didn't ruin anything, I said, struggling to keep calm. Marcus found the truth himself. I just confirmed it when he asked. You could have lied, Mom said. You could have protected your sister. Protected her? I snapped. I've done that my whole life. When does Rachel own her actions? When do you and Dad hold her accountable instead of excusing her? Mom went quiet. We've tried to be fair to you both, she said finally. You were always so capable. Rachel needed more help. She needed boundaries, I shot back. You let her do whatever she wanted, leaving me to clean up her messes. That's unfair, Sophia. None of this is fair, I said. It's not fair Rachel abandoned Lily. It's not fair Lily's in foster care when I'd have raised her. It's not fair you're blaming me instead of her. We just want peace, Mom pleaded. Can't you apologize to Rachel? Make this right? I laughed, bitter. Make it right? The only thing that matters is finding Lily and ensuring she's okay. That's my focus, with or without you. I hung up, hands trembling with anger and pain. For the first time, I was done shielding Rachel, done enabling my parents' favoritism, done sacrificing myself for a fake family harmony. I needed to find my niece and seek justice for us both. If you've ever had to stand up to family for what's right, you know it takes all your courage. But that moment of truth can start healing wounds you didn't know could mend. As I searched for Lily, I didn't know how this would change my family forever. Stay with me to hear what happened next. The day after that awful dinner, I called in sick to work, a first for me. I couldn't focus on other families' issues when mine was a mess. I met Marcus at a quiet downtown cafe, away from prying eyes. Thanks for coming, I said as he sat across from me. He looked exhausted, dark circles under his eyes. Of course, he said. How are you holding up? I gave a weak laugh. Barely. Mom called to blame me for ruining Rachel's happiness. Apparently, I owe her an apology. Marcus shook his head. That's unbelievable. Welcome to my family, I said dryly. Rachel screws up, I get blamed for not covering it up. It's our pattern since we were kids. I'm starting to see that, Marcus said. I knew Rachel had issues, everyone does, but the lying, the manipulation? I didn't know how deep it went. It's like I've been dating a stranger. She's good at showing people what they want, I said. I don't even think it's intentional anymore. It's just her. Marcus nodded. I've ignored red flags, stories that don't add up, gaps in her past. I feel so stupid. You're not stupid, I told him. Rachel's charm is powerful, and she's had years to perfect it. We all miss things when we love someone. We sat quietly for a moment. Then I refocused. You said you could help find Lily. Marcus sat up, all business. Yeah. I called a CPS contact this morning. She'll check Lily's file, but it might take a few days. The records get tricky across jurisdictions. I get it, I said, fighting impatience. Thanks for helping. I know this is tough with Rachel. He paused. I don't know what's next for us. I care about her, but trust is everything, and I'm not sure I can trust her now. I nodded, unsure what to say. Part of me felt bad for breaking their engagement, but Rachel's lies did that, not me. How about you? Marcus asked. Are you ready for what we might find? Lily's 7 now. She might not remember you. My heart twisted, but I'd thought of that. I know. If she's happy, adopted, thriving, I won't disrupt her. I just need to know she's safe. But if she's still in the system, I'll fight for custody. I let her down once. Not again. Marcus looked at me, then nodded. I believe you. I'll do what I can. 3 days later, his contact came through. Lily was still in foster care, moved between 4 homes in 3 years. She was now with Eleanor Reed, a foster mom experienced with kids who have emotional challenges. With this info and a legal plan, I took another day off and drove to Eleanor's suburban home, a tidy ranch with a basketball hoop and toys on the lawn. I sat in my car, nerves buzzing. What if Lily didn't know me? What if she was angry I let her go? What if she rejected me? Finally, I rang the bell. A woman in her 50s with kind eyes answered. Eleanor Reed? I'm Sophia Morgan. I called about Lily. Yes, come in, she said, leading me to a cozy living room. Lily's at school, back in an hour. Let's talk first. It's important before you meet her. I nodded, torn between relief and impatience. How's she doing? Eleanor's face stayed neutral. Lily's complex, bright, creative, but she struggles with trust. Her history makes her doubt people will stay. My heart hurt. Does she talk about her past? Her mom or me? Not much, Eleanor said. But she mentions an Aunt Jessie who sang to her, made her feel safe. Is that you? Tears welled up. Yes, I whispered. That's me. Eleanor softened. I thought so. Her case file matches the timing. Why did you take her in? She's been in several foster homes, Eleanor explained. Lily's a tough placement. She pushes away foster parents, testing if they'll leave. Some did. I've had her 8 months. It's been hard, but we're making progress. I nodded, trying not to crumble. Legally, what now? I'm her aunt, but I have no rights. What do you want? Eleanor asked bluntly. Contact, visits, or custody? I want what's best for Lily, I said. If that's staying with you, I won't interfere. But ideally, I'd pursue custody. I've never stopped loving her. Eleanor studied me. I respect that. Too many family members expect it to be easy, ignoring the trauma. I know it won't be, I said. I'm a family court judge. I see these cases daily. I'm ready for the challenge. A judge? Eleanor raised an eyebrow. Impressive. Lily inspired my career, I admitted. I wanted to help kids like her. Before she could reply, the front door opened, kids' voices filling the hall. Eleanor stood. That's Lily and the others. I'll talk to her first, explain who you are. Let's keep this short to not overwhelm her. I nodded, heart pounding. Whatever's best. Eleanor left, and I heard her greet the kids, sending some to do homework or grab snacks. Quieter talk followed, then footsteps neared. There she was, Lily, 5 years older but still my niece. She had Rachel's delicate face but Dad's dark hair and eyes. She stood in the doorway, half behind Eleanor, watching me with a guarded look that broke my heart. Lily, Eleanor said softly, this is Sophia, your aunt. Do you remember her? Lily stared at me, her face hard to read. Then, quietly, she said, "Aunt Jessie?" I nodded, choking on emotion. "Yes, sweetheart." "You sang the dinosaur song," she said, not asking. "The one about the dinosaur scared of the dark until his mom gave him a nightlight," I said, voice trembling. "And made shadow puppets," she added, a small smile flickering. "You remembered," I said, tears falling. "I thought you were gone forever," Lily said, a hint of blame in her tone. "Like everyone." "I'm so sorry," I said, aching to hug her. "I never wanted to leave you. I've always loved you, always thought of you." She looked at me, skeptical, too wise for 7. "That's what everyone says." "I know," I said. "It's not fair to ask for your trust right away, but I hope you'll let me earn it." Lily glanced at Eleanor, who nodded. "Miss Ellie says you want to visit me." "I'd love that," I said. "If it's okay with you." She paused, then shrugged, hiding how much it mattered. "I guess it's fine. If you want." "I do," I said firmly. "So much." Our first meeting was short, as Eleanor advised. We talked about Lily's school, her love for art and science, the book she was reading. I kept things light, avoiding big promises. When I had to go, Lily surprised me. "Will you come back tomorrow?" "If Miss Ellie says it's okay," I replied, looking to Eleanor. "Dinner tomorrow would be fine," Eleanor said, smiling. I nodded eagerly, already counting the hours. Over the next few weeks, I visited Lily regularly, shifting my court schedule to make time. Eleanor saw how our bond helped Lily, despite some rough moments. I met with Marcus to plan a custody case, his prosecutor experience pairing with my family court knowledge. "Your prior custody of Lily helps," Marcus said in one meeting. "So does your job and stability. The challenge is explaining why you lost contact after Rachel took her." "I trusted Rachel," I said. "I thought she'd change, that she'd be a good mom. By the time I knew something was wrong, she'd moved and cut me off. I didn't know Lily was abandoned again until you told me." "That's fair," Marcus said. "Honesty is our best shot in court." "Have you talked to Rachel?" I asked. He frowned. "Briefly. She's not handling this well. She thinks we're conspiring against her, even suggesting we're having an affair." I cringed. Classic Rachel, rewriting reality to play the victim. "She's threatening to fight custody," Marcus warned. "Says she's Lily's mom with rights." "Rights she threw away," I said. "But I figured she'd fight." "There's more," Marcus said. "Rachel's been taking child support from James all these years, even after leaving Lily with him." I stared, stunned. "How?" "James kept paying, thinking it went to Lily's care in foster homes," Marcus said. "Rachel never told him otherwise." "That's fraud," I said, sickened but not surprised. "She abandoned Lily but kept the money." "It's evidence we can use," Marcus said grimly. I nodded, sadness mixing with resolve. I didn't want to fight my sister in court, but Lily deserves better: stability, love, consistency. "She deserves you," Marcus said simply. As my bond with Lily grew, so did my determination. Filing for custody would change my family forever, maybe end things with Rachel and my parents. Raising a child with emotional needs would reshape my life. But seeing Lily's cautious smiles, her growing trust, the way she leaned into me while we read, I knew I had no choice. I'd failed her once. Not again. Filing the custody petition felt terrifying but freeing. I was challenging our toxic family dynamics, saying Rachel's behavior wasn't okay, that her charm wouldn't save her anymore. Rachel fought back hard. She called our parents, claiming I was stealing her daughter. She sent me angry texts and voicemails. She even contacted my courthouse, hinting I was misusing my judge role for a vendetta. I stayed focused, with Marcus and Eleanor's support, on giving Lily the home she needed. Court date loomed, but I felt calm. I'd done all I could, driven by love for Lily, not anger at Rachel. I was standing in my truth, no matter what my family thought. The night before the hearing, Rachel called. Sophia, she said, her voice soft, almost broken. We need to talk. Not tonight, I said warily. Anything you have to say can go through our lawyers. Please, she said, emotion cracking through. Just listen. Against my instincts, I met her at a coffee shop near my place. She looked rough, her usual polish gone. Thanks for coming, she said as I sat. What do you want, Rachel? I asked, keeping my voice steady. She took a breath. Drop the custody case. I'll fix things with Mom and Dad, say it was a misunderstanding. We can go back to normal. I stared, incredulous. Normal? You mean you tearing me down, Mom and Dad enabling you, and Lily in foster care while you pocket her child support? That's your normal? You don't get it, Rachel said. I'm trying to save our family. If you air this in court, Mom and Dad won't forgive you. Maybe not, I said. But I need to forgive myself. I won't abandon Lily again. She's my daughter, Rachel said, desperate. I messed up, but she's mine. Being a mom isn't just blood, Rachel. It's showing up, putting her first. You haven't done that. I can change, she pleaded. You've had 7 years, I said gently. You didn't. I'm choosing to be there for Lily now. Rachel's face hardened. You're picking a kid you barely know over your sister? Your family. I'm picking what's right, I said. Something our family's never been good at. She grabbed my wrist as I stood. You'll regret this. When Mom and Dad cut you off, when you're alone with a troubled kid, you'll wish you listened. I pulled away. Goodbye, Rachel. See you in court. Walking away, I felt lighter. Her threats, once paralyzing, had no hold on me. I wasn't the girl craving family approval anymore. I was a woman fighting for what I believed in. Tomorrow would be tough, but tonight that clarity was enough. Courtroom felt strange as a petitioner, not a judge. The familiar tables and state seal looked different from this side. I sat with my lawyer, David Kaufman, a family law expert I knew well. Marcus sat behind us, his presence a quiet strength. Rachel arrived late with Stuart Reynolds, a pricey lawyer, and our parents, who sat behind her, avoiding my gaze. Eleanor came with Lily's guardian ad litem, Patricia Chun, a thorough advocate for kids. Lily stayed out of the courtroom to avoid stress. Judge Harriet Wilson entered, and we stood. I'd faced her as an attorney, never as a judge. She was fair, unmoved by emotional ploys, the kind of judge I wanted to be. Good morning, she said, seated. We're here for Morgan versus Morgan, custody of Lily Morgan. Are all parties ready? Both lawyers confirmed, and the hearing started. David laid out our case, my past custody of Lily, my stable life, our renewed bond. Eleanor testified about Lily's progress with me, how she felt safer, showed fewer issues. In your opinion, David asked Eleanor, is it in Lily's best interest to be with Sophia? Yes, Eleanor said firmly. Sophia's committed, educated on trauma, and patient. Lily trusts her, which is huge for a child like her. Rachel's lawyer grilled Eleanor, suggesting I turned Lily against Rachel. Eleanor stayed calm, sticking to facts. Marcus then testified about finding Lily's case and Rachel's fraud with child support. On cross-examination, Stuart tried to paint Marcus as biased, hinting at an affair. Mr. Bennett, describe your relationship with Sophia Morgan, he asked slyly. Sophia's a friend, Marcus said steadily. We care about Lily's welfare, nothing else. A concern that emerged after your engagement to Rachel, Stuart pressed. Convenient timing. I found Lily's case at work, Marcus said. I didn't seek it. Once I knew, I couldn't ignore it, no matter my relationship with Rachel. When I took the stand, a calm settled over me. David and I had prepped for tough questions, and I was ready. I spoke openly about my bond with Lily, how I cared for her, and the gut-wrenching choice to let Rachel take her back. Why didn't you keep in touch with Lily? Judge Wilson asked. I tried, I said. Rachel sent updates and allowed video calls at first, but they tapered off. She dodged my calls, saying she was busy. Then they moved across the country and she cut me off completely. You didn't pursue legal action then? No, Your Honor. I believed Rachel was stable with a supportive partner. I thought Lily was safe. What changed? Marcus told me Rachel abandoned Lily again, leaving her with her boyfriend, who later gave her to foster care. Had I known, I'd have fought for her immediately. Stuart Reynolds' cross-examination was harsh. He painted me as a jealous sister, using Lily to settle old scores. You've always resented Rachel's bond with your parents, haven't you? He pressed. I breathed deeply. My family relationships are complex, but this isn't about that. It's about Lily's well-being. You think you know what's best for her better than her mother? Actions matter more than words, I said evenly. Rachel's had chances to be a mother and walked away. I'm choosing to show up for Lily with love and stability. Rachel took the stand next, all tears and remorse. She spoke of her addiction, her recovery, her desire to be a better mom. I was young, foolish, she said. I made mistakes, but I've changed. I want to be the mother Lily needs. Why did you leave Lily with James Crawford? Judge Wilson asked. Rachel dabbed her eyes. I was struggling. James had a good job, a nice house. I thought he'd care for her while I got back on my feet. Did you stay in contact? I called when I could, Rachel said, faltering. Not enough, I know now. Did you know Mr. Crawford surrendered Lily to social services? Not at first, she admitted. By the time I learned, she was in foster care and I was told I'd need to go through the courts. Are you receiving child support from Mr. Crawford? Rachel hesitated. Yes, but I've been saving it for Lily's future. Can you prove that? Not right now, she said, but I can get the records. Her story unraveled, full of holes as she tried to dodge the evidence. Stuart brought in friends to vouch for Rachel's changed nature, but their words felt empty against her history of neglect. The most moving testimony came from Lily's therapist, Dr. Sarah Mendez. She described Lily's trust issues and fear of abandonment. Uprooting her now when she's building trust with Sophia would harm her progress, Dr. Mendez said. Sophia's consistency is helping Lily heal. Judge Wilson called a recess to review evidence before closing arguments. Side, I saw Rachel arguing with her lawyer, her polished mask slipping. My parents stood nearby, Dad grim, Mom crying. They still hadn't looked at me, their rejection a dull ache. But fighting for Lily gave me strength I didn't know I had. How are you doing? Marcus asked in the hallway. Better than I thought, I said. I've done all I can for Lily, no matter what happens. I think Judge Wilson sees through Rachel's act, he said. Her story didn't hold up. I hope so, I said. But custody cases are tricky. There's a lot to weigh. In closing, Stuart painted Rachel as a reformed mother deserving another chance, accusing me of jealousy-driven interference. David countered with facts. Rachel's abandonment, her fraud with child support, my stable home, and my bond with Lily. Your Honor, David said, this case hinges on who puts Lily first. Sophia has been her constant, prioritizing her welfare. We ask you to grant Sophia full custody. Judge Wilson thanked both sides. This is a complex case with serious stakes for Lily, she said. I'll reconvene tomorrow at 9 with my decision. The wait was agonizing. At home, I tried to distract myself with work, TV, anything to keep my mind off the ruling. I'd spoken my truth, fought for Lily. It was out of my hands now. At midnight, my phone rang. Hello, Sophia, Dad said, his voice heavy, tired. We need to talk. I sat up, alert. Dad, is everything okay? No, he said. Our family's falling apart in court. Your mother's been crying all day. Guilt hit, but I pushed it back. I'm sorry Mom's hurting, but this is about Lily's safety. Is it? He asked. Or is it about settling scores with Rachel for us favoring her? His words stung, but I was ready. Dad, if this were about revenge, would I be taking on a traumatized 7-year-old? Changing my life, my career? That's not spite. That's love. He was quiet for a long moment. Rachel says she's changed, deserves a chance. Maybe she has, I said. I hope she has. But Lily can't be her experiment. She's been abandoned twice. She needs stability, permanence. And you can give her that? I know I can, I said firmly. I've loved her since Rachel put her in my arms 5 years ago. I never stopped. Another pause. We should have seen what was happening with Rachel, with Lily, he said. We should have been there for you both. It was the closest he'd come to an apology. Yes, I said softly. You should have. I don't know what the judge will decide, he said. But I'm proud of you, Sophia, for standing up for what's right, even against us. Tears welled up. Thank you, Dad. That means a lot. Sleep, he said. Tomorrow's a big day. I hung up, my heart lighter. His words didn't fix years of pain, but they were a start, a sign he finally saw me. Sleep was rough, filled with anxious dreams. I got to the courthouse feeling drained yet wired, my nerves on edge. Marcus waited outside, holding 2 coffees. He handed me one with a kind smile. Figured you could use this. You're a lifesaver, I said, sipping gratefully. Have you seen Rachel or my parents? Not yet, he said. But I saw Eleanor and the guardian ad litem go in. We entered the courtroom where David was prepping his notes. As 9 o'clock neared, Rachel arrived with Stuart Reynolds, looking tense but put together. My parents came in last, sitting in the middle of the gallery, not behind Rachel like yesterday. Felt like a small shift. Judge Wilson took her seat, her face unreadable. After formalities, she spoke. In custody cases, the child's best interest is paramount. This includes stability, emotional needs, and the guardian's ability to provide care. She glanced at her notes. Rachel Morgan has shown a pattern of abandoning her parental duties, despite chances to stay involved. Rachel let out a soft, pained sound, but Judge Wilson pressed on. Sophia Morgan, however, has consistently prioritized Lily's well-being, even at great personal cost. Testimony from Eleanor Reed and Dr. Mendez shows Lily's strong bond with Sophia and her progress under her care. My heart raced as her words sank in. Therefore, this court grants full legal and physical custody of Lily Morgan to Sophia Morgan, effective immediately. Relief hit me like a wave, almost overwhelming. David squeezed my arm, a quiet congratulations. Additionally, Judge Wilson continued, evidence of misused child support payments requires Rachel Morgan to repay funds received from James Crawford when Lily was not in her care. These will go into a trust for Lily's education. Rachel jumped up. This isn't fair. She's my daughter. Ms. Morgan, Judge Wilson snapped, control yourself or you'll face contempt. Stewart pulled her down, whispering urgently. The court will set a supervised visitation schedule for Rachel Morgan, Judge Wilson said. After 6 months, if Ms. Morgan shows consistent, appropriate engagement, we may consider unsupervised visits. She looked at Rachel. This ruling doesn't permanently cut you off from Lily. Show real change, not just words, and the court may expand your rights. The door is open unless you close it. The hearing ended and the room cleared. I sat, stunned, taking in my new reality as Lily's guardian. The wait was huge, but so was my happiness. Rachel stormed past without a glance, Stuart trailing her. My parents lingered, then approached. Congratulations, Dad said stiffly. We hope this is best for Lily and you. Thanks, I said. I hope you'll be part of her life. She needs loving grandparents. Mom's eyes teared up. Of course. She's our granddaughter. It wasn't full peace, but it was a start. We'd deal with deeper family issues later. For now, this was enough. Marcus joined me as my parents left. "Well, Judge Morgan," he said, smiling, "you did it." "It's not about winning," I said softly. "It's about Lily." "I know," he said. "And you'll be an incredible mom to her." "Thanks," I said, tearing up. "I couldn't have done this without you." "You would have," he said. "You're the strongest person I know, Sophia." I just helped a bit. Leaving the courthouse, I felt lighter than I had in years. The road ahead wouldn't be simple, Lily's trauma wouldn't vanish, and family wounds might never fully heal. But I was on my own path now, driven by love, not fear, by belief, not duty. The next 6 months were a whirlwind. Lily moved in that weekend, her belongings in a suitcase and a garbage bag, a stark reminder of her unstable past. "Is this really my room?" she asked, staring at the blue walls, bookshelf full of books, and cozy quilted bed. "It's all yours," I said. "We can change anything you want." She touched everything gently, like she couldn't believe it was real.